What is going on, guys? This is Jason of Auglitical. I swim through the politics so you don't drown too. I'm just a man trying to bring common sense in a world where common sense isn't so common. So I keep seeing these debate video where you have these leftists sitting there talking about some Tom Holland ate these racist right wingers up. He ate child. Yeah, when you find somebody smart, they don't know what to say. They fall apart, etc., etc. And I've been seeing these videos, and then whenever it's a person that's in the seat, I'm guessing that this person who they put in the seat, I don't know if he's the main person that they put to debate because I saw one with Charlie Kirk. But there is a big difference between a person trying to talk that comes from the left and a person trying to talk that comes from the right. And I'm not going to sit here and act like there isn't a difference. A lot of times that the person on the right will try to debate somebody on the left, the person on the right is open to listening to the other person, listening to their views. And a lot of times that's where people fall the fuck apart because they fall into the left traps. They fall into their little gotchas. They fall into their little sound bites and their bullshit. We see it over and over again. I forgot I think with Charlie Kirk, there was this girl talking about abortions and calling fetuses parasites and X, Y, and Z and all of these other things. And Charlie Kirk, as good of a debater as he is, you can't sit there trying to reason with people who are fucking batshit insane while they're swinging at you with a knife at your neck. And that's where the problem is. So I saw a bunch of these videos of apparently Tom Holland over here sitting there, and you got a bunch of people saying he ate them up, he destroyed them. And I already saw what it is. A person who talks good, a person, it reminds me of a snake oil salesman, right? You don't need to be a good person. You don't even need to be telling the truth. As long as you're charismatic, you can get some bullshit across. That's the reason why Adolf Hitler became as far as he did and had the power that he did to do what he did is because he was charismatic. Even though he had all that hate in his soul, he was still charismatic. And so people followed behind him. People listened to him. And they listened to him even though he was fucking wrong. A lot of times that you hear these people talking, especially shit like this, they can get their talking points, they can do a bit of research, and to a person who is uninitiated, to a person who's not on the same level, maybe to a person who's trying to have an honest discussion, they will get picked apart, even if the person doing the picking apart is a mess themselves. It's just what they do. It's the reason why when you hear people like Destiny, as smart as Destiny is, right? What ends up happening every single time somebody gives him the same energy and they know their shit? He falls the fuck apart. This is something that happens on the left way too frequently. Let's get into it, shall we?
Very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
So, you're looking back at Donald Trump's history. One thing I do want to say, I don't know if you are aware, Palm Beach didn't used to let African Americans there. Donald Trump sued the city of Palm Beach to allow black membership at Mar-a-Lago. That is not racist. I think one of the problems that we have a lot on the left, every time there's a disagreement, we get thrown, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're this, you're that. And it dissolves the discussions that
And that's exactly what they do. You'll be sitting there and you'll be trying to talk to somebody, and then they will literally just, it's like a switch goes off in their head, and all of a sudden they're throwing all these fucking insults at you. They're trying to talk over you. They're claiming that you do the things that they claim to be doing. They'll sit there and they'll assume all these fucking things at you, and you trying to be the decent individual, you're trying to make them assure them that's not the case, but they're already on that fucking fast train to doing what they do, and people need to stop falling for it.
we should be having on policies. Secondly, Donald Trump worked with Senator Scott to create opportunity zones in black communities. If he was truly a racist, it's not something that he would do. So I think the whole premise is he's a racist, he's a sexist, takes away from policy positions that we should be discussing. If we go to the border, and we talk about rapists and murderers. Yeah, they are happening. Laken Riley is now dead. We have 300,000 missing migrant children known sold into the sex trade, per the last IG report. These are important issues.
You,
Our economy is important.
did you see his face when she brought that up? The reason why is because he was harping that it's only United States citizens that do crime. and illegals are not bad for the country, and they're just looking for better ways to live, and etc. etc. The whole story with Lake and Riley, and it's not just Lake and Riley. There's quite a few other women that this shit has happened to. It's fucking tragic. And my bottom stance, no matter what, is I'd rather be safe than sorry. The rest of the world is not the United States. If it was, nobody would need borders. Nobody would need walls. Everyone would be able to leave their doors unlocked. Everybody does not live to the same standard as we do. And so when you're bringing people who don't do that, when you're bringing in people who don't have an allegiance, when you're bringing in people who are not willing to assimilate, when you're bringing in people not only who are not willing to assimilate, but people who want to dominate, this is a fucking problem. This is a huge problem. And people need to realize this. But let's continue.
Issues.
You mind if I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Are you a U.S. born citizen?
100%.
You are statistically speaking 4 times more likely to commit a violent crime than an undocumented migrant. So when you kind of virtue signal on behalf.
Here's a fact check. U.S. born citizens are 2 times more likely to be arrested for violent crimes, 2.5 times more likely to be arrested for drug crimes, and over 4 times more likely to be arrested for property crimes, according to a peer reviewed article published by the Proceedings and the National Academy of Sciences. All right, now I'm just going to break it down like this. There's a lot of illegals that do crimes, and like we could talk about it wherever in the world, anywhere in the fucking world. There's a lot of what's going on with these governments is that they're bringing in illegals into their country and they're not even putting them in the databases right. How many times have we seen a person who literally came across the border and they put them down as white? How many times have we seen this where I've literally seen a situation where an individual did something, got arrested by the cops, didn't have ID, and they literally let them go, practically let them go because the person didn't have no fucking ID or was giving the wrong ID. They do not report them. They turn down what is a crime and what is a crime to what is not a crime, all in favor of illegals. So of course it's gonna seem like the people who are doing the right fucking thing are the ones getting in trouble more. It's because they're following the rules of the fucking land compared to the others who are not. Who are not. Again, if an American was walking around snapping geese's necks in the park and walking home with them, best believe the police would know all the information that they have on that individual. But a certain other group comes in snapping up geese, probably snatching up dogs and cats. I'm not going to confirm or deny that or whatever. No names, no nothing. Let's be real here. Stop playing the games.
Half of that.
They shouldn't be here.
Okay. All right.
And my husband's an immigrant.
Okay. Yeah, but
a
also
legal immigrant.
Okay.
Who came here legally.
Okay, I understand.
We've got 100 ISIS in our country right now that was reported. We've got gotaways. We've got Tende de Aragua. I've interviewed Oscar Blue, who's been through the Darien Gap 4 times. People are dying.
Okay, so you're saying that we have a crisis at the southern border.
Well, I'm saying that you're saying that Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump loves America.
Okay. Well, first of all,
and he puts Americans first.
I want to ask you one simple question first, and maybe we could get back to the prompt. Do you think that we have a crisis at the southern border today?
100%.
So you'd say that we also had a crisis at the southern border at the end of Trump's term because we have the same amount of daily crossings today than then?
No, we do not have
the same we have about 2,400 crossings today than as we had at the end of Trump's term after Biden's executive order.
14,000 crossings a day. The Biden-Harris administration.
So again, apparently this fact checking shit, of course, from Jubilee is left slanting. You can you can actually look the shit up yourself, and I would advise you to probably not look for a right wing or mostly a left wing thing. Try to find something in the center that's telling the truth, but eventually that will be labeled as right wing because it's not telling their truth. But yeah, the numbers is real fucking bad under the Biden administration because they literally gave them the green flag, like, hey, yeah, come here, and they're coming here. They've been told by their governments to come to America. Why do you think Trinidadians is coming over here? They empty their prisons because they knew that they were gonna go to America. Like, are we fucking kidding over here? But the thing that's so funny about this individual right now is, as you can see, she's not giving him any leeway when it comes down to dominating the conversation. And this is probably something she has to do because the second she lets up off the gas, he's going to try to turn around and put some straw mans or some gotchas or whatever the fuck he's gonna try to do, as he's did to everybody else that they have these videos of. And I find it funny because if you look at the comments, all those people, all the lefties saying, yes, he ate them up. Yes, Tom Holland, all of those people are gone. They're not commenting on this video. I wonder why. Again, feed him to somebody. Like I said, if you were willing to throw people who just wanted to say what they wanted to say, they knew about what they knew about, but they weren't as, eh, I don't know, versed into this kind of thing like he was on his level, then he should be okay, because you can tell a person who knows their shit, a person who's right, who's sound of mind, who actually is about what they believe in, they can talk to somebody who's higher level than they are. And the thing that's amazing about that is they will be able to hold their own with those individuals. You don't need to be smarter than somebody to beat them at something, especially when they're wrong. Feed him to somebody like a Candace Owens who's not playing with her kitty gloves on, who's not trying to be someone's friend or trying to sit there and, how, again, like how the right loves to do. They love to sit there and hear people out while they're swinging at their fucking head trying to take it off, right? Give them to somebody who's going to pick them apart piece by piece like these people do. That's all I'm saying.
Put us back into what's called the Global Compact of Migration. They are now using an app where they use our refugee resettlement program to fly people into our country to different states. So for you to say that the Trump administration that did not have catch and release, that is not, and Biden put it back in. And then we also had remain in Mexico, which on day one of Biden's administration, he wiped out.
Because it was ineffective. I mean, we could look
it
at,
was very effective.
Do you mind if I talk real quick?
It's just propaganda. It's what you've heard from CNN and MSNBC.
Actually, how about I provide you a source that isn't CNN, isn't MSNBC?
Again, again, was it perfect? No, but it was much better than what the fuck we had. Much better than what the fuck we had. And it's weird. It's just weird. It's very very weird. Let's look at some of these comments. Having an open discussion is amazing. I hope that young people are learning from this experience. He went up against a Jedi Master and lost. It doesn't sound as though it changed his mind one bit. He just deferred to another topic. Of course he does, because they're not there in good faith. They're there to push what they want to push. This individual, this Tom Holland, is not listening to anybody else. He's literally just there to try to force his will on somebody else. And that's the opposite of what these things are supposed to be. The brainwashing has left him brain damage, assuring that they will never have the ability by design to have a logical thought. Well, that's the thing. It's crazy because either he can keep going down that path, or eventually he will snap, and then he'll see what he was doing, and then he may just become a right winger, but extreme, which is dangerous. You don't want people to be extreme, but it happens because if he becomes an extreme right winger, then what ends up happening is that he falls into the trap of the things from the radical right, and he's more open to them instead of people on the right and the people in the center who are just like, look, we may be this way, but we want the right thing. Instead, he may just, yeah, anyway. That's per insanity talking and delusional. I have yet to get a coherent I'm sorry. The American lower and middle class, most MAGA supporters are intellectually disabled and have nothing to offer to our country. From Juan. Okay, Juan. That's per sanity talking and delusional. I have yet to get a coherent Kamala speak, or nor a supporter of her actually provide a real reason to vote besides their feelings. And I've yet to see you Trump supporters do the same. Donald Trump could literally say he hates blacks to a camera and then ask about it from the press and say no, and y'all hold it and call it fake. Y'all the absolute worst, most what? Y'all are the absolute most closed-minded and delusional group of people ever, right? Beautiful. This guy's watching it all. You can just tell by the way he looks and talks that he's such a beta soy boy male. And that doesn't, and that, I'm sorry. I just woke up. I apologize if I'm messing up a lot more than I normally do. I need to make this a little bit bigger. Hold on. You can tell by the way he looks and talks that he's such a beta soy boy male that just doesn't listen to no one. That's the problem with the left. Once they are convinced of something, even if you have hard facts, they won't change their mind. Orange man bad, annoying. Yeah, that is true. They do that a lot. They believe in something which they don't have to be right if they have the moral high ground. He was getting a little fired up there at the end. I downloaded the app to better understand Biden's system of the open border. It's crazy. Indoctrination is real. She mentioned Laken Riley being murdered, and this was him. I said that face, right? When people give this look when they think they're about to have a gotcha moment, thinking that what this is about, only to be schooled. Yeah, that's basically what he was doing throughout most of these videos here. Smugly lip detected. She did destroy him, but it's obvious that it didn't matter. He's going to ignore any and everything factual. I don't know. I don't know that he was really listening. His status fake. Illegal immigrants are far less likely to report crime in their own communities. They're actually more likely to commit a violent crime. We just never hear about it. This is exactly what the hell I was saying before. Exactly what I was saying before. So check this out. This was a girl who was talking to Vivek Vaswamy and I think Charlie Kirk, and they basically were trying to talk to her, and she asked them. She asked them, "Was the video edited?" To which they said no, and she decided because she was losing that this is what she was going to do. Again, these are people who are not coming with good faith. They are not coming with good intentions, and you need to spot these individuals immediately. Let's check it out.
Proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself. Hold on, hold on, hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right?
Again, none of that has to do with anything. There's a massive difference between trying to talk to somebody on the left about these things and trying to talk to somebody on the right with these things. When you're trying to talk to somebody on the right with these kind of things, they are willing to listen to you. They are willing to hear your side, even if it's fucking wrong. And they're not always sitting there. It does happen sometimes. I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't, but they're not always trying to straw man you or give you some fucking bullshit gotcha moment or trying to trap you in their fucking discussions. They're not trying to do that for the most part. But when you're dealing with somebody on the left, they are aiming for your jugular at all times. This is something you people need to understand. A good person, right, who they don't need to be completely well versed. It's common sense is right and fucking wrong. And we're not talking about the left version of common sense, which is I feel good, so this is good, even though this is bad, as correct. There's a thing about being right and there's a thing about being correct. But anyway, let's continue.
Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm
Oh,
a
so
registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
So again, all that this person is doing here is trying to basically say that all of this is void because of blah 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 blah. Again, a child can school their own parent and their parent can learn something if the child knows what the fuck they're talking about. Again, this is common sense. This is the way about being correct and being wrong. A parent can do something wrong, a child can correct them, the parent can be like, cool, but you're still my child. At the end of the day, everything's fine and dandy. The parent learns something, the child still knows that that's their parent. All things are fine. Again, you are now on the same level field because you are voters. Sitting here and saying, "Oh, you are 30 years old," is that not true? What the fuck does that got to do with anything? You put yourself in this position. You want to vote? This is the same kind of thing that's so crazy because these are the same type of fucking people that sit there saying that they're smarter than everybody in the room and their decisions that they make are more important than everyone else's. Same exact people who think that fucking little girls can have sex changes and everything will be fine because they know and gender. What is it? Um, Children who are 3 years old know their gender and all this other crazy fucking shit. Let's continue. She looks like as though this is the type of shit she's into.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you could see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania.
Look,
See, she's trying to slander, she's attacking, she's making it seem like as though what they're doing is not legit. like she's trying to, like I said, null and void on their presence, and he's throwing back at her. And I don't know if he's doing it the same way that she's doing, which she's doing these attacks because she's trying to basically, damn it, the word was right on my tongue. She's basically trying to, again, make it seem like as though these people being on campus, they should not be there. They have no point in being there. It's wrong for them to even be there. They have no purpose there, right? And as he clearly showed, that's not the case. That's not the case. So they're throwing back and forth, right? But the thing is, it's funny because she could just throw things out of the woodwork. He's bringing facts, right? And that's kind of where the problem is. It's kind of why the right loses a lot of times. Is because when it comes down to the left will catch you. The left captures their puppets with feelings, while the right seems a little bit too robotic.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking.
Well, that's
to
what we're
voters.
doing here today. It's an open
I
mic.
think that you push a dangerous agenda.
Such as?
Your stance on abortion rights, for example.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, so
let me ask a question. What is your name?
Jean.
Jean. And what is your understanding of the current Republican Party's stance on federal intervention in abortion?
Well, I know that they want to bring it back to the states, right?
So it sounds like you do know that the Republican Party's current stance on abortion is they're against a federal ban on abortion.
I do
and
understand
we're talking
that,
about a
yes.
presidential election as the
Yes.
important election that we're talking about here.
I understand that, yes.
Great. So, again, I think this open dialogue is great. I think it's great you're here challenging Charlie, and I think it's great that he's willing to travel campuses across this country to talk to the next generation. We need more conversation. Now, where's the disagreement, though, on content? Because you could criticize style or why you're talking to people or dunk on someone personally, but where do you actually disagree with
I
the
agree
substance?
with the way that you edit content and specifically frame it so that people look bad talking to you. The way that you edit your content.
we post unedited content.
Now check this out. Watch what this little fucking witch does when she says that, right? Because here's the thing: as dumb as they are, never underestimate the mind of the left to do calculating, disgusting, vile things when it comes down to pushing their shit across. Never ever underestimate it. These people are swinging for the neck at all times.
Let me just ask you one thing though, because personal insults can fly in all directions. Where is an area where you have a disagreement with the conservative movement, with Donald Trump, with Charlie Kirk, perhaps with myself? I was a presidential candidate last year. I think we need to talk about that more in the open, and the more we do, the stronger our country is going to be. We got a long line of people, but I want to hear from you one substantive area where you have an authentic disagreement, and I'd be glad to address it. I'm sure Charlie would too.
Just in
Anything.
political.
Relating to any political topic where you have a disagreement. Let's air it.
Okay. I disagree with some of the laws that are being pushed in Congress that are against the LGBTQ community. And
Here we go again. Females and their undying loyalty to the LGBT. That's not even the LGB, it's the fucking T. Here we go. With their undying loyalty to the T, as T's are kicking them off of the fucking boat that's sinking. Kicking these women into shark-infested waters as the boat is singing while help slowly comes from the distance. And you have these women sitting there, and they're just sitting there watching themselves get fucking vaporized. I don't understand what it is with this, but again, pay attention to her actions after she asked about the editing.
And the trans community.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to give you my view, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
My view is that if you're a fully grown adult, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want, dress how you want, marry who you want if you want, if you're over the age of 18.
I agree.
But you are not free to indoctrinate children in schools who are not yet of the age of consent. You are not free, just as you're a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old can't get a tattoo on their own, I don't think that you should be able to go until
Oh shit,
the age
what
of
did he
18.
say?
So the lines that I draw here is that men are free to claim to be women and swim in swimming pools. You're not free to claim trophies in a women's sports competition. You're not
Now, let me ask you, do you think that she's listening to this man at all? Let me ask you a question. Do you think that any of that is actually getting through to her at all when she's sitting there doing that? Multiple choice, yes or no? If you answer with yes, you're retarded.
Free to enter a women's locker room, you're not free to change a language, and you're not free to actually indoctrinate our children who are under the age of 5 in schools. Do we agree on the fact that adults should be able to live freely while still treating children differently? If so, we're on the same side of this issue.
Again, if you answered with yes, you think that she's listening instead of she's just waiting for him to close his mouth so she can do what she's about to do. Well, you already know.
Listen, I agree with the majority of what you said. However, I don't think that you're understanding the implications of the laws that are trying to be passed.
Look, we got a head start in the conversation. We got a long line behind you. But my only ask is, forget the personal attacks or the stylistic attacks. Focus on substance. The more we debate that, the stronger we're going to be as a country. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think you're focusing on substance, though. That's the issue.
Hold on. But he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you, and you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I have to ask, what?
There you go. There you go. Anyone notice what she just did? I mean, it's right on the frame. Anyone noticed? There was a lot of action around her tits, and I granted, I don't know. I guess those are bees. I don't know. I've lost track of what cup sizes are because for like 5 hours I was researching titties, and I gotta tell you, I got tired of titties. I got tired of titties after looking up 5 hours of titties for a fucking video. I did a video, I deleted it. But I got tired of titties. I just got tired of titties for about an hour. I didn't want to see another titty in my life. But again, a lot of action. And don't get me wrong, she has nice boobs, but they're not massive. Not massive enough that she's accidentally revealing her titties, right? So look at this shit and ask yourself, was this done on purpose? I think it was done on purpose because all of a sudden for the last 5 minutes of all of this shit going on, she was real interested, and there was a whole lot of activity with her playing with her chest area. And now she did this after asking, was the video edited? So you mean to tell me she just goes around flashing people on campus? Hmm? By accident? Hmm? Okay, sure. Sure. If you said yes to that, you're a fucking idiot.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think you're focusing on substance, though. That's the issue.
Hold on. But he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you, and you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I have to ask, what laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, but this is what you do. This is what you do. You take people and you put them under the spotlight, and you.
Well, hold on. I didn't ask you to come up here. You voluntarily came to the front of the line. You didn't have to do that.
You're purposely antagonizing people on campus, asking
How?
people to come up by spreading your weird agenda.
How? What agenda is that? I'm confused, though.
So, Charlie, I'll say this. We'll end on this and we'll go to the next question. When I was 18, and I'm not going to blame you for this, I also took for granted a lot of the stuff that the media force-fed me, because that's what you know at the age of 18. You say there are some vague laws making their way through Congress that are hostile to trans community.
Know how?
I don't think those laws actually exist, but I don't blame you if that's what the cable media is feeding you. But let's get to the specifics, and then we're able to actually have an open dialogue. And that's one of the things I've learned over the last 20 years.
I think that the issue is we're getting our media from different sources. Both people are getting media from these skewed sources. The facts that you're presenting are not always correct.
And that's why we're here with no TV screens between us. So people who have policy-based substantive disagreements, we invite those. I think that's how we're going to get our country back. And as it relates to trans, which you brought up, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want. You're not free to force that onto somebody else, or especially kids. And if we agree on that, we make some progress. Thank you.
Stop grabbing your titty.
Disagreements, yeah.
Weirdo. Again, 100%. I believe that was premeditated. And the thing about that is, it's really sad because she started off with the bullshit. Oh, what's the point of you even talking to us? But then sits here and says the problem is we're getting all of our information from people who are skewed in a certain way. So what the fuck do you think is happening when all of these students, including herself, is being indoctrinated by her radical professors, etc., etc., etc. It's only okay to get bad information from people that you align with, but not from people that you don't agree with. I think that that's fucking crazy. That's insane. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you think. And yeah, whatever. There's a lot of fucking people with MAGA hats. God damn. Look at that. Look at my fellow African American.